samples, and I'm going to show you how to do it using a grid system. Hello there. So I am soil sampling today, and what does that mean? Well, I am out in the field and I am pulling samples of soil. But I want to explain to you what that process looks like and why we do it. So first of all, the purpose of pulling soil samples is so that we can get an analysis of the soil, which means what type of nutrients are already there so that we can better amend the soil to get a higher producing crop. That's the main reason that we pull soil samples. This is springtime. And there's a lot of debate on, do we pull spring or do you pull summer? Do you pull fall soil samples? So if we would have wheat that would come off summer, that's when you would pull the soil sample after that wheat comes off of the ground, because typically you wouldn't put something else in there until the following year. And here in Indiana, we have wheat harvest in the summertime. We plant wheat in the fall. So the ground that I'm on right now was actually beans last year, and we're gonna put it to corn this year. And the reason we're pulling soil samples this year in the springtime, typically we'll do fall once the crops have already come off, but we're pulling this one in the springtime because it's actually going to be a research plot this year, and so we thought we would like to get some new data to see where we're at, and then to be able to analyze where we're at beforehand. And then we'll probably pull some soil samples again in the fall to get a feel for what the crop actually took out of the ground and what we're left with. And so what typically will happen is you'll pull those soil samples in the fall and then get your analysis back and take a look at it and determine what you need to do for springtime prior to planting season. So supplies that you're going to need. I'm running with an app on my phone, and it's through FarmLogic. It's a software program that farmers can use to document pretty much every aspect of their farming operation, whether it is the seed they use, the equipment they're using, the maintenance records, chemicals, fertilizer, all of that can be logged through this app on your phone or on the computer. The phone app I'm using then is Soil Test Pro, and that is part of FarmLogic. That is what's actually going to give us the grid sample, and I'll show you that here in a minute so that we know where to sample. Some other things you're going to make sure you have. So soil test bags, they look like this. These can be found at whoever you're going to use your testing services. So for example, I go through A&L Great Lakes. They're out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They're the closest to me, so that's who I go through. You'll need a soil test probe, and I'll show you that here in a minute in the field. A bucket to collect the sample in, a pen to write your sample number, and I think that's it. I use then, we call them side-by-sides. It's an all-terrain vehicle. You can use a four-wheeler, you can use a Jeep, but the side-by-side is typically what we prefer. And of course, summertime, you can take the doors off so you're not opening the door every single sample. When you're doing hundreds of samples, that can take a lot of time and kind of become a pain. So I want to show you the sampling system that I'm using though. I have it set up on my phone, and I already have it set up into grid samples. So if I zoom out, there you can see the whole field that I'm on. And all those little red dots, it's every 3 acres. I have it set for that. You can actually change it to 0.5 an acre, however how many samples you want to do. I did mine for every 3. And then every place you see an X is actually where I've already been. So it'll mark it for me. But what happens is I'm sitting here, so it tells me where I'm at. So I'm sitting here close to my next point. There's the property line for this, or boundary lines for this particular sample. I chose to be over just a little bit further on purpose. Reason being is I feel like it's a better representation of the soil area versus being close to the property line. But what I'll do is I'm sitting here on the next point, so I'm going to pull my sample, and once I pull my sample, I'll put it in the bag, and then I'm actually going to click mark, and it puts a little X. I go to next, and then it tells me my sample number. So this 5223 is what then I will write down on the bag. So then I have all of the information recorded, and then I click next sample, and we're good to go for the next one. But you do this with every single sample in the field. That's what I've done. Soil test probes, there are several out there. I will tell you my personal preference. I do not like this one because there's nothing to stand on. Notice how this one you can stand on and really push it in. This one you cannot. It works fine on soils that are not heavy clay. We have heavy clay. This one does not work so well for us. So I like this one. One, because you can step on this part. Two, there is a plunger that allows you to get the sample out. So again, heavy clay soils, and they're kind of still a little wet. This is springtime, like I mentioned, so they're still a little wet yet, but it allows me to be able to sample throughout almost any type of season with this type of probe. So all you do is essentially step on it, get a nice sample, and then you'll get it out in the bucket. Ideally, I like to pull at least 3 samples, or at least enough to give you a good sample in the bag. Let's do one more. The other issue that if it's too dry, it'll actually fall out of the probe. So you have to kind of find a sweet spot when it comes to soil sampling and moisture. So I've got the mixture of those samples in there. I'll mix it up a little bit because I pulled them from different locations. Remember those bags? I've written our sample number on the bag. Seal it up, and you have one soil sample. Remember that you can do it half acre, every acre, but you have a sample for every one of those. So you could be pulling hundreds of them. How long does it take? Well, you get faster as time goes on, but it really just depends on the type of soil that you're working with, the conditions, and then you get your own routine figured out as well.